There's a relatively new right-wing podcast called Podforce 1, hosted by Miranda Devine. Podforce 1 is run by the New York Post, and Devine has been a career journalist for decades now. The very first episode of the show, around 4 months ago, featured an interview with Donald Trump. Needless to say, this operation is very connected. I first heard about it, though, due to her recent interview of Vice President J.D. Vance, specifically this section.
We got Atlas in January of 2024. And so, of course, I got the nod in July of 2024. But really for those 6 months, I mean, I kind of obsessively trained him. Like you could see this. Like he sits on command, he stays on command. He has this command place, which is basically if I snap my finger and point, he will run to that place and lay down.
You don't have to zap him.
No.
Hassan.
Not like hasanpiker. No.
Wasn't that disgusting?
No electrocution of dogs here.
How disgusting is that? What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're not, that they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause suffering to an innocent animal, you're probably the kind of person who doesn't worry about suffering in people as well. Yeah. And that's been my experience. If you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be a really terrible person. So it's one of the ways, we really sort of test people is if Atlas responds well to them, if they like Atlas, we know they're good people. But you can tell if somebody's really mean to animals, it's like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. Yeah. Like every serial killer ever has actually been really bad to animals. That's sort of how they started. I remember like the Freddy Krueger movies were really big when I was, when I was a kid. Well, how did Freddy Krueger got to start? Like one of the things they show is young Freddy Krueger torturing animals. Yeah. I feel like we just sort of instinctively understand.
And dogs know.
Yeah, absolutely they do. If you're not taking care of God's creatures, then you're certainly going to be, I think, a pretty bad person other ways too.
I'm not sure that Vance wants to go down the whole doesn't care about human suffering road, considering the actions of Republicans during Trump's second term. But more importantly for us today is the absolutely bewildering fact that we have the Vice President of the United States commenting on streamer internet drama. What a magical world we live in, that the VP knows who Hassan Piker is, and these weird allegations against him. Now, if you're in my Discord, you know that real life once again fucked me during the month of October, which explains why I missed the beginning of this story. But if for some reason you were living with me under that rock, let me explain it to you. On October 7th, a day that will forever live in infamy, for a completely different reason than the Israel-Palestine conflict now, instead what we got was the yelp that was heard around the world. Check out this clip from Hassan's stream.
It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just, you're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom. No, she doesn't want to come over here to see what's up. She just wants to fucking roam the house because she got to roam the house when I was gone. And she needs to literally have the same structured, regimented. I think that clip went to Trump's big baby desk immediately. I hate everything. I hate everything. I hate everything so much.
Well, that was a little bit weird, wasn't it? What the hell happened there? Well, in the interest of covering all bases, I'm going to present to you both the Hassan hater and the Hassan supporter explanations of what we just witnessed. Let's start with the hater explanation. Hassan's talking about politics on his stream, doing his usual thing, when his dog Kaya gets up and wanders off of her dog bed in the background. Hassan doesn't look back to see her moving, but you can see him look over, presumably to his second monitor, and then notice her. He's probably got his stream software there presenting the view of the camera. He then tells her to go back on the bed and reaches underneath the camera with his left hand. People are saying that he's reaching for a remote of a shock collar that Kaya is wearing, and his body language does kinda match up with him pushing a button maybe. After he reaches off screen, Kaya yelps and lies back down in bed. Hassan looks back to see what happened and calls her a baby. It's at this moment that Hassan's on-screen chat stops scrolling for a few seconds, and when he manually scrolls back through it, he skims over a ton of messages expressing concern for his dog. Hassan detractors claim this clip is evidence of animal abuse on his part, that he's training Kaya with a shock collar to stay in bed for hours at a time, to basically be his stream prop. Now, I don't know about you guys, but just on its face, that explanation is actually kind of convincing. But to be fair, let's talk about how Hassan's supporters interpreted the events. Hasan fans claim that Kaya wasn't shocked by a shock collar. Rather, Hasan told her to lie down once again, and she went to do so, but she clipped what is known as her dew claw on the bed frame. A dew claw is the digit on the foot of many mammals, birds, and reptiles. It's stunted, higher up on the leg, and on dog it's vestigial, meaning it's an evolutionary leftover. It's no longer used for balancing or running or scratching or digging or anything really. Now on lions, for example, dew claws are used to hold down prey, and on deer there are dew hooves, a second small hoof higher up on the leg that can be used to assist in landing properly after a jump. But in a lot of animals, including most dog breeds, dew claws are like tailbones on a human. They serve no actual purpose, and they're just a leftover from previous evolutionary adaptations. So, Hasan fans claim that Kaya clipped her dew claw on the bed frame, as her leg does kind of appear to rub the frame shortly before her yelp. The clip went viral so quickly on the subreddit livestream fails that even before Hasan's stream was over, he had tons of people coming in and talking about what is now known as Kaya-gate or Collar-gate. And off the cuff, Hasan gave the clipped dew claw hypothesis as his defense for what happened.
To hear oral arguments on Thursday.
Oh my
we should
God.
Note that new CBS.
Is there like a fucking LSF video or something? Is that why there's like hella people coming in here and screeching? Is that what's going on? Oh, classic. It started on D, then H3, then LSF is the classic pipeline. I'm gonna fucking die, dude. Yes, I am incredibly abusive to the not only best trained, but also the best behaving and most spoiled dog on the planet. Is from when Kaya yelped. Yeah, she yelped because she fucking clipped herself on something when she was getting off the bed.
Okay, if we're going to be completely honest, there is a non-zero chance that the Hasan fanboys are correct, that this was simply just an accident, that Kaya clipped her own claw on the bed getting in. But man, Hasan's body language, rolling his eyes at her moving, the reaching for something off screen, it really just feels like Kaya got zapped, doesn't it? Like, even if Hasan didn't actually do it, then he's extremely unlucky, because the clip is perfectly set up to look like he shocked her and that's it. Well, there is a lot more evidence to look at, and I'll just spoil it right now. Yeah, it really only stacks up in one direction, and it's not looking good for Hasan. All of his supporters are really clutching at paws, if you know what I mean. To start us off, there are a couple more clips to look at from the October 7th stream. Firstly, at the very start of the VOD. Hasan is coming back in after his stream crashed, and we can observe him trying to get Kaya to remain in place once again, this time with no shock.
Because I'm in the United States of America, the most dog shit country on the fucking planet, the absolute worst country on the planet, straight up, bar none, a capitalist shithole. Kaya, now is not the opportunity for you to down. The absolute worst fucking place on the planet, just a horrific, monstrous, awful dog shit.
And secondly, after the clip went viral on LSF, and Hasan knows he's being watched on this topic, when Kaya gets up again, this is how he reacts.
Are you a fan of the shorts and dress shirt? No, this is an abysmal fit. Especially including the fucking, the shoes as well. That is craziness. That is crazy. What are you doing? Okay. What do you want? What do you want from me? For those of you who ask, why do you always do the place command? The reason why I always do the place command is because she likes to lay on the ground. Okay? She likes to be by my side, but she likes to lay on the ground. And the reason why I don't like letting her lay on the ground as opposed to that bed is because the bed, come here, is because the bed is better for her joints. Why do you need to tell people this? Did something happen? Yes, it's going viral that they're claiming that the most well-trained and the most spoiled, best kept after dog on the planet is actually being abused by me, apparently. Because I gave her the place command while she was getting off, and then she yelped. And I suspect it's coming from, some crazy haters. They said you shocked her with a button. Yeah. In my evil villain lair. Good thing I didn't hit the fucking trapdoor button instead on accident.
Now to me, this sounds like a form of gaslighting, when you exaggerate the claim made against you in order to make it sound more outlandish, which Hassan does here by acting like the claim against him is that he has a built-in dog shock button on his desk, like he's some sort of villainous mastermind. Sounds like textbook deflection. The actual explanation wrapped inside of that deflection, that Hassan wants his dog to lie on the bed and not on the floor beside him because the floor is too hard on her joints. That's actually a decent reason as to why you'd want a dog to stay in one place, so fair enough. But the fact that he's mixing in with all this other rhetoric is pretty sus, at least to me. But the part in contention isn't whether or not Hassan's dog should be in that bed. It's whether or not he's using a shock collar on his dog as a training device. People who watch Twitch tend to react very poorly to on-stream animal abuse, and rightly so. Do you recall when people freaked out over Alinity throwing her cat on stream? It's that sort of thing. When JD Vance said that abuse towards animals shows what kind of person you are, he's right. Of course, this entire controversy could have been easily solved had Hassan simply shown off the collar that Kaya was wearing in order to prove it wasn't a dog collar. And yes, it had to be on that stream, not the next day or whatever, because it's too easy to simply substitute a new collar while offline, one that isn't a shock collar, and then show that the next day. Unfortunately though, Hassan didn't actually show the collar to his stream on the same day, which means that it's pretty hard to take him at his word, especially since the internet, being made up of the lovable retarded autists that we are, began to scour old Hassan streams and discovered this blinking electronic light on Kaya's collar. This is from Hassan's June 7th, 2025 stream, check it out.
And it makes people more insane when they hear this kind of demand, because they don't have the same level of loyalty or the same positive feelings and the same positive association with Israel. So all this does is breed resentment against Israel, and also depending on how That's crazy.
Did you see that? Here, I'll play it again and slow it down.
So all this does is breed resentment against Israel, and also...
that doesn't necessarily have to be a shock collar. It could be powered for some other reason, like it's a tracker maybe. But let's be real, guys. The shock collar hypothesis is looking more and more likely. Hassan's fanboys claim that this isn't actually a light. It's a shine from something metallic on the collar, reflecting some light in the room as Kaya moved her head. But personally, I don't buy it. It's too uniform for it to be light shining for a split second as the angle changes. No, that looks like an LED to me. But the Hassan fans aren't done yet. They produced this clip from August 10th, 2023, where Kaya jumped at Hassan's mom off screen. Hassan left to wrangle her, and then had this conversation with his chat about shock collars when he returned.
Literally saved their lives. And if you read it, Kaya, off, down, Kaya. Sit.
Down,
Kaya. Stay. Thanks, Mom. This is why shock collars are a thing. She's too far away to correct her behavior manually. She's not doing anything that bad. She's just jumping because she's excited to see my mom. And that's it. That doesn't mean that you can't remedy that situation. And you can certainly remedy that situation without a shock collar. What the fuck are you talking about? That is like... She's a 5-month-old dog. He's right, your dog's broken, get a new one? Okay, shut the fuck up. Bunch of freaks in here, dude.
Now, in this convo, it's pretty clear that Hassan thinks that shock collars are deplorable. He calls the chatter a psycho for even suggesting it, and other people in chat are wondering if shock collar is even legal in California. Considering this visceral negative reaction, does it make sense for Hassan to use a shock collar on his dog on stream, knowing what the backlash would be? The answer to that is obviously no, so fair enough. But then this clip surfaced. Hassan's guest was fiddling with Kaya's collar and had this to say about it.
And now it's mainstream. I love her. I think her collar's too tight.
Yeah, well, it's here we get.
You have to be able to get 2 fingers, and I couldn't even get one. I think you're choking her.
She's like, it's a lot of neck meat.
Well, now that's a bad look, Hassan. Okay, let's assume that Kaya has a fat neck. That's no excuse, is it? Buy a bigger fucking collar. Why do you need that one specifically? Well, maybe it's because it's just the one that Hassan already had. It turns out that Hassan owned a previous dog named Fish, who unfortunately died of liver cancer 5 years ago. Hassan was seen with Fish in 2017, where Fish was wearing an inverted spike collar, meaning that the collar spikes into the dog's neck whenever they pull against a leash, which sounds kinda cruel to me. In an even older stream than the August 2023 one, Hassan admits that he bought a shock collar for Fish, and that he still had it around after Fish's death.
My old roommate wanted to use a shock collar for Fish and his dogs. For Fish and his dogs barking. I couldn't do it. I have it still. I bought it. They are incredibly effective.
Now, to his credit, Hassan says he never actually used the shock collar on Fish. It was actually his old roommate who wanted to train both his dogs and Fish with a shock collar in order to get them to stop barking so much. Okay. But then this 2019 video resurfaced, where Hassan was kinda treating Fish like shit during training.
Stay. If you run right now, I'll fucking kill you. Like, I'll actually kill you, okay? In front of everyone. Motherfucker, come here.
And then there was this clip of Hassan very clearly saying he does not care if dogs get hurt.
It's just such a lib ass, like, oh, dude, please don't get a Frenchie. I just read a Vox article talking about how problematic they are. Like, I don't give a fuck. I know they have breathing problems. I know they're incredibly fucking inbred. I don't give a shit. I know. I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. This is a dog.
Oh man, this might only be circumstantial evidence, but it is really piling up, isn't it? Now, to be fair, some of the clips that are floating around do actually sound like they're being taken out of context. For example, I saw some people posting this old clip of Hassan describing owning animals as being akin to slavery.
You have an animal that you are taking care of. You have a literal fucking slave. And not just like a slave, but you have a literal fucking slave that you shackle, okay? Every fucking day. Pull from their neck and take them wherever the fuck you want to take them to. And on top of that, you fucking neuter your slave. So your slave can't have more slaves. And you have the slave for just personal consumption, so like making yourself feel better.
People are saying this is more evidence that Hassan is pro-animal abuse or something, but I don't think so. Based on his tone of voice, it sounds like he's describing how people treat their animals poorly, but not that he approves of it. Listen, I'm not all about digging up old clips and taking them out of context. Hassan might be a shitheel, but I'm here to find the truth. Okay, what actually matters is this collar on Kaya a shock collar? That's the question. Hassan's past statements about dogs are interesting, they're relevant in a narrative way, but they're not strong evidence in and of themselves. What we actually need here is something like a look at the shock collar itself, from before Hassan had the opportunity to alter the situation. Or I guess the shock collar's remote or something similar. Now it turns out we do have just that. On last year's Christmas stream, Hassan switches to an above camera view to show off the decorating of the Christmas tree, and he fails to realize that his desktop is visible. His actual desk, not his computer desktop. The remote for the shock collar is visible on his desk for a few minutes, before he eventually notices it and slides it under the monitor. And then of course he looks up at the camera hoping that nobody noticed it. Well, sorry buddy, but the internet never forgets. Like I said earlier, Hassan failed to present the actual collar in question to the camera during the very same stream that Kaya Gate took place on, so we can't actually know which collar Kaya was wearing at the time. However, he did present it to the camera during a following stream, when it would be very easy to simply just show off a new collar and pretend that it was always the one. Nonetheless, let's take a look at what Hassan had to show us.
Yeah, man, you explain things well and shit, but show the collar though, dude.
Kaya, okay. Come here.
This is one of Kaya's many collars. Come here. Sit. This is the one that people are talking about. Okay, this is the one. This is the one that they saw. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it. Are you happy? That's it. Good. There's the air tag. There's the fucking vibrator. It also has a flashlight component to it at nighttime. And it also has a tracker on it when she gets lost. If she were to actually get fucking lost, you are able to, it emits a sound. Okay. There are days where Kaya doesn't wear a collar. There are days where she wears a different collar. Okay. This, in and of itself, doesn't actually work in the way that you think it does. Okay. Here, this is the flashlight. Okay. And this is when it vibrates. I'm sure that the people that are saying that this is not like the real deal will continuously and expertly scrutinize every minutia to say, oh no, you don't understand. This is, you know, this is a situation where he's trying to get out of it or anything like that. Even an e-collar that uses a low current as in a shock collar is no worse than a cell phone vibration if used correctly. Yes.
Well, the problem still remains that there's no way to know that this collar is in fact the same collar that Kaya was wearing during the stream in question. And Hasan even admits that Kaya has many collars, presumably to explain away any sort of discrepancy that autistic internet sleuths would have come across. In order to overcome that level of scrutiny, he would have to show off all of her collars. And even then, there's no guarantee he wouldn't have just thrown out the collar in question. So this doesn't actually help Hasan's case all that much. However, either he's lazy or stupid, because this clip still incriminated him, even with that little bit of collar that he did show off. Now, I personally can't take credit for this particular bit of autistic investigation. I actually got a hold of this information by watching Lonerbox's stream on the whole thing. If you don't know who Lonerbox is, he's a Sockdam streamer based in the UK, and he's generally a pretty cool dude. I find myself agreeing with him more than I disagree, even if he does suck at Hollow Knight.
Oh. Okay. Stop being an idiot. Fuck. Oh, God. Oh, fuck.
Actually, I initially got this from watching my pal Food Shops react to Lonerbox react to Hasan, but the only thing that Food Shops really added to the discussion is that she wanted to eat Kaya, so fuck it. Really living up to those stereotypes, eh?
Vibrator.
There we go.
It also...
Anyway, Lonerbox dug through some Amazon pages and online video reviews of various shock collars, and pretty convincingly determined that what Hasan was holding in his hand is the ET300 shock collar, otherwise known as the Educator. Yes, Hasan is sending his fucking dog to the re-education camps. Lonerbox started looking over the ET300, even reading the manual at one point, and it became pretty obvious that Hasan had somehow altered the collar. He didn't go out and buy a new one for his evidence stream. No, he altered the collar he already owned. There are various dog training channels on YouTube showing off the ET300, and I just gotta say, it's actually hilarious to think that these guys started getting spikes of views randomly and not knowing why. These channels show that the electric prods in the collar can be removed, but they leave behind these two little metal nubs. Hasan made the claim that the collar is actually a vibrate collar, not a shock collar, but Lonerbox showed that vibrate collars look different than what Hasan was holding up.
Closely match the ET300 Mini Educator half-mild remote e-collar, which does have shock prongs. It seems to match in shape, in the positioning of the charging port, in the texture of the plastic, unlike this one with the much more curvy light than the one Hasan has. This one, which is vibrate only, also has its charging point on the side. The one Hasan has the charging point in the middle, much like the shocking version, where the prongs that could deliver the shock are simply removable. You can just remove them. Or apparently, maybe, plausibly, ostensibly, cover them with black tape. That seems to be where we are now.
What Hasan held up in that stream looked like the ET300. However, the prods had been removed, and there was a strip of electrical tape or fabric or something covering up those remaining metal nubs. Of course, I also have to point out that Hasan's story has changed now. Initially, he said that Kaya clipped herself in the bed frame, but now he's admitting that yes, he did in fact lean out and press a button off screen, just that it was a vibration collar, not a shock collar, and apparently the vibration startled Kaya. As soon as Lonerbox identified which collar was Kaya's, other internet autists began to buy them and do their own investigations. For example, Twitter user MDMA Enjoyer bought the collar and realized pretty quickly that yes, if you remove the prongs and put electrical tape on the bottom, it is identical to what Hasan held up. Also, the streamer Mr. Mooten bought the collar and underwent his own test on himself.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, Mooten! What the fuck? Kill yourself!
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But keep in mind that he was shocked for 3 full seconds, while Kaya probably only suffered like a half-second zap or something. At this point, many large creators began to take notice of Lonerbox's research, and everyone had the same obvious question. If it wasn't a shock collar, why didn't Hassan immediately take off the collar and show it to the camera on the day of? It would be the easiest slam dunk win for him. The only reason that you wouldn't is because it actually was a shock collar. I guess the only real question that remains is why? Is Hassan just some sadist who likes hurting dogs? I mean, maybe, I don't know. But the internet's come up with a pretty good theory regarding why with Kaya specifically. Here's a time lapse of the full stream where Kaya Gate took place. Kaya stayed on that bed for over 4.5 hours. Except, of course, when she tried to step down and Hassan zapped her back into position.
Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
And over the various clips today, Hassan has seemed quite insistent that Kaya remain right there, on that bed, in place, for the entire stream. And that's because it's exactly what he wants. Hassan has admitted this directly.
And also, one of the parts of this training is also supposed to put her, like, we're using the elevated bed, as you guys can see. And one of the things with the elevated bed is that she has a leash on right now on the elevated bed, so she can't like really get off of it. So she now knows to sit in place for hours and hours on end.
Of course, he did give a reason for that earlier. It's apparently better for Kaya's joints if she lays in the bed while stationary for a long period of time. Okay, fair enough. Well, 1, if Kaya wants to get up and wander around the house for a bit, that's not being stationary, but fine, whatever. And 2, Hassan admitted earlier that Kaya wants to be near him, which is why she keeps walking over. Okay, if that's the case, why not put the bed beside you then, Hassan? Then Kaya can be in bed and near you, and things will be okay, surely. However, that means that Kaya will be out of sight of the camera, and no longer be visible on stream there in the background. But that's not the reason that you bought her, right? Well, Hassan claims he didn't actually buy Kaya at all. Apparently he adopted her off of a random dude from Craigslist.
I went to the adoption agencies. I went to all of the 501c3s, and there were a lot of puppers that were great there. Okay. But the way that I got Fish, who was also a rescue, was completely coincidental and completely random. Right? Fish is my first dog, for those of you who don't know, who was with me for 6 wonderful years. And, you know, he was just like left at an Orange County tire shop. So I'm a big fan of Kismet, you know, fate. And vibes as well. Big fan of vibes with dogs, but also with Kismet as well. So what did I do? I went on Craigslist and I looked for big breeds, and I found a Mastiff breed. This was the Mastiff breed. She comes from a family, we don't know what her mom is, but Craigslist, oh no, wait, why oh no? The family wanted to have her, but realized that she is going to be too big for their daughter, and the dude who had her originally was like, yeah, she eats way too much already, and also on top of that, like, we already have some big dogs, and I'm having a child. Now, why is the I'm having a child important as far as this component goes? Well, the reason why it's important is because originally I was supposed to go today to get her. She's trying to get up. She's trying to get back on the table. So originally I was supposed to go and get her today. Ray and I were going to go travel over there, you know, IRL it a little bit too, and then come back into the puppy stream here. But that didn't happen. Why? Well, because my man's wife went into labor, like his actual wife. Yeah. And he was like in panic mode. He's like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you want this dog, he's like, brother, if you want this dog, you gotta come get her literally tomorrow. So instead of going to a wedding like I was supposed to on Saturday for my friend Jack Wagner, I had to travel. I was like, congratulations, but like, dude, what? So I had to travel over to an area in California to go grab this little thing and then bring her home.
Now, this is pretty plausible at first glance. This sort of thing happens all the time. At the same time, though, it just so happened to turn out that Kaya is a Tibetan Mastiff, the most expensive dog breed in the world. The priciest dog ever sold was a Tibetan Mastiff at 1 million euros. Owning one of these things is a status symbol, and you're not just going to find them from random dog breeders on Craigslist. And here's how Hassan reacted when he found out about it.
opinion, Tibetan Mastiffs are amongst the most incredible guardian breeds on the planet. One good look at these majorly imposing dogs makes it easy to understand why they are the most expensive dog breed in the world. With their long, shaggy manes, these guys really do look like...
Yeah, he doesn't seem all that surprised, does he? So, okay, let's try to tie this entire story together. Hassan has this dog. He totally got it off Craigslist, but it just so happens to be the most expensive dog in the world. Okay, highly unlikely, but not completely impossible. Then he decides that he wants his very expensive status symbol dog to be on stream. Alright, that's probably good for the stream regardless of status symbol. Most people like most breeds of dog. The dog needs to stay in bed for long periods of time for health reasons, completely fair. But the bed has to be in the background so the stream can see the dog. Because the dog isn't beside Hassan, she wants to get up all the time and come hang out. So Hassan needs to train her to stay in one place for long periods of time in order to basically turn her into a stream prop. And part of that training involves a shock collar, which we know that Hassan already owns from his previous dog Fish, who he also mistreated. A collar that Hassan denies using, despite the remote appearing on screen at one point, and the collar appearing altered to hide the prongs. As far as I can tell, that's the story so far. Am I missing anything? Oh, it turns out that I am. There's the part where he outright admitted during a party on someone else's channel that he actually had Kaya trained by a professional dog trainer who specialized in shock collar training.
I have the best trainer in San Diego.
Oh yeah.
His name is Pat. You send him for
He trained my dog too.
And
my
my
buddy, Brian.
You sent him for 2 weeks?
2 or 3 weeks. You have to, bro.
What does he get trained to do?
Everything. Shock on, strong collar, shock collar.
He'll get training to like
Kaya?
basically be off collar.
Do you know
like
Kaya?
you don't need to ever have a leash on him.
Really?
Do you know Kaya?
My dog?
Cooking with Kaya?
No, my dog.
Oh, no.
Well, dude, we have the
Oh, yeah, I met your dog. It's basketball man.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have the best
She's
dog.
she's very well trained.
And that Hassan is actually very proud of what both he and the dog trainer did to Kaya. Apparently it was necessary.
This right here, this fucking demon, okay, who's sleeping like a goddamn baby currently, that thing right there was the spawn of Satan. Do you understand me? When I'm telling you that was the spawn of Satan, I'm telling you, like, I was sick. I was sick to my stomach. I was sick all the fucking time. I thought I was gonna die. And look at her now. The most perfect puppy of all time. Why? Because I trained the living dog shit out of her, okay? Every goddamn day I had to train the people around her to make sure that they were doing the right things. I had to train her every fucking day. And that's what you're supposed to do. And look at her now. She's incredibly well trained. But like the first 4 to 6 months, I was like, I'm gonna die. Like, I think I might actually perish if this continues. I trained the shit out of her for months, and then I even took it to the next level where I took her to professional like doggy boarding school. And after that, it was over, you know? She's just...
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I am a little bit out of my depth here. I don't know much about dogs. I like dogs, at least some dogs. I've met a few that I didn't like, but I like most dogs. I actually don't know how moral a shock collar is. Intuitively, it seems kind of cruel on the face of it, but is it possible that some types of dogs do just need that reinforcement to be trained? Maybe, I don't know. If some dog expert came along and told me, actually Dev, it turns out that Tibetan Mastiffs respond really well to shock collar training, and if you don't do it, they destroy your house. Well, okay, fair enough. This is not my area of expertise. I don't fucking know. But what I do know is that a lot of creatures, Tibetan Mastiffs or otherwise, would not want to sit in bed and be a stream prop for 5 hours. Yeah, dogs do laze around sometimes, but you know what else they do? They get up, they stretch, they walk around, they go eat some food if you leave a bowl out. It's actually not a big deal if your dog decides to get out of bed, wander around the house for 15 minutes, then lie back down. It's only a big deal if you want to keep your dog on screen as a stream prop. And while there are a lot of good reasons and good ways to train dogs, personally, I think that administering electric shocks, specifically to make a dog stay on camera and make you look good, is pretty shitty. Hassan might be a disgusting person, both personally and politically, but he does understand optics, and he's done everything he can to try and right the ship. The next stream after the controversy, he held Kaya awkwardly in his lap in an attempt to show the world that he's actually a good dog dad. He also did that thing where you lean into the drama and attempt to own it. Like he had a friend come over and give him electrical tape as a joke gift. And they were making dog shock jokes, so he could make a show out of laughing about it. Which, if you're in Hassan's position, is really one of the only things that you can do. Try to play it off like a joke, and make the people accusing you of wrongdoing look and feel silly. But this one isn't going away. Hassan just spent the past few days in New York City for that high-profile mayoral race that just went down. And while he was streaming from his hotel room, he lost it at the chatters who continued to bring up the dog shocking incident.
No, I'm not letting you get away with this. Enough of this shit. Enough of this fucking, you literally do that. Give me an example, dickhead. And if I was wrong, or if I wronged someone, if I actually gave false information, because I got duped by a fucking AI article, I'll apologize. Go ahead. Don't try to bait me. Explain exactly what you mean. This is the type of shit that I hate so much. It's always vague posting. You do that too. First of all, even if I did do that, would that be appropriate? When your dog got electrocuted, you spun the fact that it wasn't a buzzer? It's not! Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. That's not even a counter example. You fucking idiot. Come on, man.
I don't want to be one of these guys that
Come
tells
on,
you
man. What do you mean? Come on, man.
exactly what's going to happen.
I can't entertain your fucking
delusions.
delusions.
The other side knows, but I'm not somebody that tells you.
It really is incredible that after all the shit Hassan has done, the German brothel with trafficked women, interviewing an Islamic terrorist, saying that America deserved 9/11, simping for the Soviet Union, stealing tons of YouTubers' content, all this insane ghoulish shit, it might actually be Kayagate that destroys him. This is the one drama that shows no sign of letting up, especially since JD Vance breathed more life into it back on Podforce 1. Of course, the internet has created many good memes, as it always does. Photoshops, AI, Hassan blasting Kaya with lightning bolts or whatever. It's everything you'd expect from an event like this, and it's all pretty funny. But if we're going to talk about material orbiting the event, before we call it a day, I want to quickly check out the Hassan defenders. Yes, there are still occasionally low IQ people who still believe the hooked her claw theory, or you've got retards like Denims who say that the altered collar is actually just photoshopped, even though, you know, we actually just fucking saw it in this video.
The taped photo is fucking doctored, dude. You fell for misinfo. Congratulations, bro.
XQC said that he'd donate $50,000 to an animal shelter if Hassan showed the collar and proved it wasn't actually a shock collar. Obviously, after Lonerbox's investigation, it became obvious that it was. But Nyara VT, a VTuber who is politically aligned with Hassan, stepped in and made the claim that the altered collar story was basically just being used as justification for XQC to get out of paying the $50,000. A claim that backfired in her face, by the way, because X donated the money anyway.
By the way, I was waiting for my agent to come back to me. I found apparently very reputable no-kill shelters, and I'm donating to those. I'll already give you guys the name of that one. It's 3 options. I'll deal with it later. I'll do it anyway. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if he didn't show it. If he wants to lie, whatever, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I said I would do something. I'll do it anyway, just because. But
so weird that
it is what it is.
Attacking the altered collar narrative seems to be what the Hassan defenders are defaulting to nowadays. Even Sasha Grey, that mainstream porn actress turned Twitch streamer, went down that line of logic on her own stream. And of course, she decided against hearing any evidence to the contrary.
I saw someone who provided info of the collar when he showed it. He took out the contact points and put electrical tape over it. I watched the same clip. There's no tape. And you can't take those points out. You cannot cut the prongs off man, that's what I'm saying. The cope is so hard with a lot of people on this.
Like the electric prongs are taken out of it.
But here's my thing, right?
Oh, I don't want to watch any more of this.
Okay, Sasha, I understand that you've left the porn life far behind, and far be it for me to tell people they can't move on and do new things. But, I'm pretty sure that you've worn a shock collar similar to Kaya's in one of your many, many videos on the internet. In fact, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that video. Did you not, get a good look at the thing you were putting on beforehand? Or did you just do what the director told you to do? Because if you did, you'd probably notice that the prongs come off. It's pretty clear to me that these people just don't want to burn the Hassan bridge in the end. He's too clouded up. He's too protected by Twitch. The best example of this is Ludwig. Ludwig has a long history of immediately walking back his prior statements if Hassan tells him to. And this is no different. Initially, Ludwig said that Hassan absolutely had a shock collar on Kaya.
Do I think Hassan shocked his dog? I have no fucking clue. I think he lied about having a shock collar. I think he 100% had a shock collar based off what's on my For You page. Maybe I'm getting psyoped. He's adamant that he hasn't shocked her. But that 100% is a shock collar, as a fact.
3 days later, Ludwig did a complete 180, saying that it's now a vibrating collar, presumably just like Hasan told him to say.
But I want to make sure if I know something, speak honestly. After my stream, I got close-up pictures of the shock collar on my mother's life. I didn't see prongs. I'm pretty sure it's a vibrate collar. So maybe I should have said 99% sure instead of 100.
And just for good measure, I'll toss in this extra clip of Ludwig trying out shock collars on himself from several years ago, just so that we all know this guy knows what he's talking about.
Look, if dogs are meant to wear this, then I think humans should nut up and put it on occasionally. And if this is against TOS, but society lets us buy this on Amazon, then I have a problem with society. Ooh, yeah! Yeah, I'm really feeling it, Jamie! But after trying literally all of these, the one takeaway I can guaranteed have is that most of these products, like 80% of them, are always meant to hurt your dog in some fashion to get them to stop what they're doing.
This, of course, led to a handful of side memes, where Ludwig is being shocked into submission by Hasan for daring to contradict him. Pretty good stuff. But you know what? I don't think we need to take seriously anything that Ludwig says. He's clearly repurposed his body to be a dedicated Hasan semen tank. However, probably the worst Hasan defenders of all are those people who say, fuck it, fuck the dog, fuck the moral outrage. Hasan is a prominent socialist voice, the socialist project needs to be defended, so who cares if he abuses his dog? Doesn't matter. His politics are more important. These are the people who are the ruthless pragmatists, who would forgive any infraction as long as the politically correct people do it. In other words, these guys are just evil. Anyway, like I said earlier, this is one Hasan controversy that just isn't fading away like the previous ones. During Hasan's Halloween stream, he was still getting triggered over the whole thing.
That's why, like, this is
What
so
about your dog?
maddening. But
Brother, I can't stress this enough. And I need you to understand something, because I know I bit the bait for one person, and then I think like a Discord server was alerted somewhere because everyone started posting this. Kaya lives a better life than you ever will have. Okay, she's a better animal than you. She's a much more important for many other people's lives than you. Okay, you are going to die alone, because this is the type of shit you get up to on the internet. You spend the finite amount of time you have doing this kind of stuff on the internet. Okay, you can type ah ha 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 all day every day and act as though you're totally not mad right now. But the reality of the matter is, when you die, it is going to be alone. There won't even be a sigh of relief. You understand? Not even a sigh of relief from your family members. That is how irrelevant you are.
And of course, eventually JD Vance's comments made their way back to Hasan's ears, where he had this to say.
He will run to that place and lay down.
You don't have to zap him.
No.
Hassan.
Not like Hasanpiker. No.
Wasn't that disgusting?
No electrocution of dogs here.
How disgusting is that? What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're not, that they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause suffering to an innocent animal, you're probably the kind of person who doesn't worry about suffering in people as well.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience. If you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be a really terrible person. So
JD Vance has done spot training for his own dog, so he knows that it is not an abusive practice. And yet he is still leaning into this fucking idea that I'm like abusing my dog, which is crazy because, hello, Kristi Noem, the secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, shot her puppy point blank, ISIS execution style, and then threw the puppy's body in a goddamn landfill in front of construction workers. And the only reason why we know about it is because she wrote about it in her book.
Now, to give the devil his due, Hasan is absolutely correct about Kristi Noem's own history of dog abuse. But you know what? I kind of expect JD Vance to be a blatantly partisan shitheel. Maybe in that inevitable future JD Vance video that I make, I'll dive deeper into his own hypocritical dumb statements. But today, we're talking about Hassan's hypocritical dumb statements, and I want you to notice just how Hassan's narrative has evolved over the past month. First, it was Kaya clipped her foot. Then it was a vibration collar, not a shock collar. And now, Hassan is focusing on spot training, like the concept of spot training is what everyone's angry at him over. Anything to deflect away from what is probably the truth, given the overwhelming evidence pointing in one direction, that Hassan shocked his dog on stream. Honestly, I think he'd actually have less problems if he just immediately admitted it. At the end of the day, Kayagate or Collargate shows no signs of slowing down, even though it's been a month now. Hassan's social blade is in the red, though to be honest, he has a long way to go before his career actually dies. He'll probably just end up like Pirate Software did, bleeding off a bunch of followers and settling into some decent mid-range niche. Unfortunately, I don't think Hassan will ever actually disappear fully. He's a fucking blight on political discourse on the internet. He's a morally disgusting human being, and it probably says something pretty negative about his fan base, that they were willing to excuse every other Hassan drama, but not this one. Oh well, it's actually quite ironic that Hassan is isolating his dog to a tiny strip of land while he colonizes the rest of it. From the bed to the TV, Kaya will be free.